Hello and welcome to the MatchDayVlogs YouTube channel. As always, please remember to smash that like button, hit subscribe, because it really does make a difference to the channel. On tonight's show, we are going to be talking about our incoming signings. We have spent super big on deadline day with our two new signings, and we also have a special guest joining us. And without further ado, I'm going to bring in our guest who has set alight the Twitterverse of Saints FC. Hashtag Saints FC has basically been all about this guy for the last 24 to 40 hours. So I'm going to bring him in. Big hand for Des.
Welcome to the show, bud.
There we go.
Yeah,
Welcome.
Good evening, Saints fans worldwide, and thanks for having me.
Indeed. You've kind of broken the news before anyone else. So perhaps give yourself a quick introduction. How did you know this information? I guess you're pretty tapped into everything that's going on over there.
Yeah. I mean, the more or less Paul Onuachu's agent is a close friend of my elder brother, and when the transfer was going on, I was more just speaking to him and asking him, what next, what's happening, and when about I think the Southampton journalist for The Athletic, he announced that the deal was done probably 1 hour after it was done. The agent already told us that he was going to go to Nantes for his medicals, and also he was going to come into the UK on Thursday, which is tomorrow, because of visa issues. He couldn't do his medicals in the UK. So yeah, that was pretty much it.
Wow. So that was pretty close to what was he? I mean, in terms of the radar, I mean, he's probably been on our radar for maybe about a week or so. Jack, would you say he's been kind of on the list, or maybe a little bit longer?
I did that the standard bad football pundit thing of buying him on FIFA about 2 months ago, just because I was like, yeah, this guy seems like a really good option. A great unit, a great, an absolute target to aim for. So he's kind of been on my radar for about a month or two, but when the name came up, in the past 24 hours, it got really real. So I'm really excited to see. I'm really excited to hear what Des has to say about him, and just a bit more insight, because all I've really got the few hours cracked on FIFA and some really good YouTube highlight clips. So I'm excited to just see what's going on. We've been waiting so long for this sign-in to happen.
It's mad.
Now,
isn't it?
Now we're finally here. It's like,
we waited all of January for announce a strike.
We didn't wait from January. We've been waiting since August, March last. So
that's fair. That's fair. So in terms of our knowledge, Des, we know Paul Onuacho. Is that how you pronounce it? Onuacho?
Yeah, you did pretty well. Onuachu. Paul Onuachu. There's a force in the beginning of the name. Onuachu. Yeah.
Onuachu. Okay, that's cool. That's really helpful, actually. So he's 28 years old. He scored 17 goals in 22 appearances. He's the best striker. He's the top goal scorer in the Belgium league, right?
For the past 3 years.
So we should be pretty excited, right?
Very, very excited. Yeah. Go on.
No, I was going to say, but in terms of his capabilities, I mean, he's an experienced striker as well. I mean, a lot of our talent in our side is very, very young. So in terms of his experience, I mean, a lot of us are looking at his striker and think he's a big, tall lad. Can't wait for James Ward-Prowse to whip it in the box and get, Paul on the end of it. But what other qualities does he have as a player?
Yeah, sorry, I just lost you a bit there. You're talking about his experience and how good he's been in his career.
Yeah,
and,
and
you are very much spot on, because he has a vast experience. He's played in the Champions League. He's played in Europa League for Midtjylland in Denmark. He's won the Danish title with Midtjylland as well. He has quite a number of records. He scored the fastest goal in Nigeria Super Eagles history back in 2019, when he scored under 10 minutes against Egypt in a friendly. So Paul Onuachu has been one striker that has always been there. I mean, I can take my man back to 2021, where he got about 32 goals, and every single goal was inside the box. He's a fox in the box. When you talk about the most elite poachers in football, from the likes of Van Nistelrooy to Cristiano Ronaldo now. I can boldly say Paul Onuachu is up there when it comes to being in the box, being at the right time, sniffing out, chances and bearing the goal. Paul Onuachu is that guy. And that's one. I don't think Southampton have that kind of that profile of striker in the team right now. So Paul Onuachu is bringing something different, something that Southampton do not have. Paul Onuachu is bringing that bullish nature to the Southampton attack. So I mean, you guys should be very, very excited and be happy about this one. Big signing.
Yeah, no, very, very, and big being the actual, physical explanation of it as well. I mean, he is 6'7". Have I got that right? 6'7".
Yeah, 6'7", 2.01 meters, tallest man in the Premier League at the moment.
I think that's just a couple of inches shorter than you, isn't it, Mike? That's just a few under you.
Yeah, one or two. But it probably makes him about 3 foot higher than the rest of our strike force, right? I mean, how tall's Adam Armstrong? Is that 5'6", 5'7"?
I know he has to have a booster seat when he drives, so when Southampton are at their best, it's when we've had those big physical strikers, like Lambert, like Graziano Pella, and it's been so long. It's been so long since we've had that kind of elite striker up there like that. It's all just been it's been the Shays and the Adam Armstrongs of they're not the finished article and they don't know where their net is, and it's nice to be able to watch a highlight reel of more than like 2 goals.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a really, really, really exciting transfer for us, and the fact that we spent so much on that final day just goes to show how much they do invest in Paul. Like they said the entire time that they wouldn't sign the striker unless it was the striker, and considering how many transfer windows we've decided we haven't found the right striker and gone without. I think it says everything that they've spent that much money and did everything they could to get him. Because there was a lot of, I don't know what it was like on your end, Des, but we had a lot of it's on, it's off. Somebody else has stepped in.
And interestingly, there was a period Southampton were linked to Terry Murphy as well. Terry Murphy of Lorient. At the end, he moved to OGC Nice. I actually thought that was going to happen because. His agency, Elite Project Group, they already have 2 players in Southampton right now, Romeo Lavia and Joe Aribo. So I was thinking that was going to happen, Terry Murphy coming to the South Coast, but eventually it didn't happen. And then Onuachu at the end is in the team. And you guys should be excited. He's bringing the Nigerian sauce. I don't know if you heard of the Nigerian sauce, but Paul Onuachu is bringing Nigerian sauce to the South Coast.
Yeah. Nice. We do need a bit of spice on the South Coast, that's for
we
sure.
We are absolutely under-seasoned right now. There is there is nothing on us right now. So
there ain't much flavour up top right now. No, it's aside from the Shea Adams goal last night, which caught us all by surprise, really, where that came from in terms of the fact that Newcastle United have got 8 clean sheets on the bounce at St James's Park. That was a nice surprise indeed. I guess the other big question a lot of Saints fans are going to be having is in terms of coming from certain leagues to the Premier League is always going to be a jump in most circumstances, with all due respect to them. So in terms of where the Belgian league is, I mean, do you see him? I mean, I guess his physicality isn't going to be an issue just due to his pure size. But, in terms of the speed of both leagues, I mean, do you see that transition going well?
I do not really think. Obviously, there's a huge, not really a huge gap. I think the Belgian league is like the 9th best league in Europe. Premier League is obviously number 1, but I don't really think the gulf in the class of the both leagues will really affect Onuachu because apart from his physicality, he has other attributes to his game as well. I can't count players that are as good as Onuachu in controlling the ball in his chest. Though he's very, very tall, he prefers to control the ball on his chest. Like he has a magnet in his chest. If you can take your mind back to Marouane Fellaini back in Everton, who controls the ball very well on his chest, Paul Onuachu is that guy. He likes playing with his back to goal. He likes bringing all his teammates in. He's pretty much a good creator of chances close to the box, despite his height. So I don't really think he's going to struggle because first of all, the opponents, whatever opposing defender is going to face, he beats them 10/10 in physicality. He beats them 10/10. So that's already trouble. That's already a problem for whatever opponent is going to face. So, he already wins the battle before the game. So I believe Paul Onuachu is not going to be phased at all by the class of the Premier League.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. And someone made a comment here. Might just do a Nathan Jones. Did I say with the greatest respect? Did I drop that in there? Oh dear, I do apologise. That's was unintentional. Although I'll be bringing out a T-shirt with that soon. Don't you worry. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the physicality thing, it is something that we see on a regular basis at St Mary's and on the road. And whenever we're coming up against centre backs with big, tall height and physical strength, it can be very difficult for the likes of Adam Armstrong and Shea Adams to get in and amongst it. And it's almost like the games we're up against it before the game's even started. So it is definitely an aspect that we've been missing. But we're certainly very, very, very excited to have experienced and a proven goal scorer. So, but over to you, Jack. I mean, do you see any other sort of qualities in terms of the incomings?
I think you of the other incomings, or we're still talking about Paul.
Still talking about Paul, in terms of and how he's going to link up, really.
Yeah, I just exactly what you said. That where we've been missing, like even when we had like about a season ago, we were talking about our centre backs and how they weren't that physical. When we had sort of just Stevens and Bednarak, getting Salatasar and Bella Kocho, make it a more aggressive defense, and it's been harder to play against them. And then going forward, the entire time they're all small boys up top, and especially when you include the new boys like Alvarez, he's tiny. Yeah, it keeps getting smaller. So to have that big physical presence up there to help them out, and just like you say, he's 6'7". It's not like he's going to come into the league and be like, oh, it's a bit. They're going to bully me. It's like, no, he's fine. He's going to come in and just scare. Scare the minds, and that's what If we got one of like another smaller striker that's zippy and kind of what everybody expects a striker to be nowadays, small, great with his feet. It's with the Premier League that whether they are great or not, that does take time to settle in. But when your whole thing is your presence. It's a different mindset, and we need it's almost for where we are right now in the league and what we have to do in the next few games. You need that. You need these signings to sort of come in and go for it straight away. And like everything Des has said, Paul kind of seems like he's that guy. He's the
and just to add to what Jack is saying, when you look at where Southampton are right now, attacking wise, it's not been good. I was looking at the where Southampton rank in the Premier League amongst Premier League clubs attacking wise, and majority of the stats Southampton rank 17th, 18th, 17th, 18th, and it's not really good. So it's not like Paul Onuachu is coming to Southampton and he's coming to an attack that has been blowing everybody apart. He's coming with that mindset that he can come here and show what he can do and make the fans love him. The most shots on target per 90 for any Southampton player right now is from Che Adams, which is 0.8 shots on target per 90, which is really, really low, for a team that wants to stay in the Premier League. We know how difficult the Premier League is. Or is it for goals? James Ward-Prowse has probably 5 Premier League goals and is your top scorer. So compared to Paul Onuachu, who is cheering it in the Belgian league, who has been cheering it also internationally for Nigeria and the Super Eagles, I believe Paul Onuachu is coming in with that confidence to show that he can be the best guy for you guys. And looking at the other profile of strikers that you have, they don't really have that commanding presence. You don't need to be a giant. When you look at the likes of Erling Haaland, the likes of Harry Kane, you can see how imposing they are in whatever game they are playing. But when you look at the likes of Sekou Mara, you look at Adam Armstrong, you don't really look at them and you're like, oh, these guys are scary. Paul Onuachu is coming in, like I said, with the Nigerian sauce, and you guys should be very, very excited.
Yeah, absolutely, and that you've hit the nail on the head. We don't really have anyone, or since Paul has now joined us, who would cause defenses problems. I think that's been we've had Sheridan's who's worked incredibly hard, but and Adam Armstrong who's done what he can, but really we haven't really had someone that's like terrified defenses and really sort of getting in and amongst it and causing us to have a
Since
difficulty.
you lost Danny Ings.
Indeed, yeah. But Danny in himself, I mean, he was a very creative player. I mean, I don't think he wasn't really one of those ones that would sort of, terrorize defenses in and amongst it. He would certainly, be able to turn and pace and go at them, but it was always kind of like a surprise kind of factor of him. But we're certainly kind of, and whilst you mentioned Danny Ings, I mean, it was always something that whoever we got in, I mean, because we were linked with Danny again, but a lot of us were like, yeah, but he'll just get injured and he's gone off to West Ham and he's injured. Is injury ever been an issue for Onuachu?
Not really, not really. I mean,
Okay.
he has a pretty much good injury record. For a touring striker like he is, you would expect, him to always have. Most tall strikers always have issues with their knees and all of that. But Paul Onuacho has not had that problem in his career at all. He's most times fit. I can take my mind back to 2020, 2021 season. I think that was a COVID season. He played about 31 games for Genk, in the league, because in Belgium, when you play the regular season, you also have to play a championship playoff. That will not determine who eventually wins the league. And Paul Onuachu played probably 90% of the games. This season as well, he's played almost all the games for Genk as well. So injuries are not a problem at all. Yeah,
That's good to hear. I mean, especially for someone, that far along his career, 28 years old, to be, injury free to a certain extent. There's a comment here from Dwayne. He's saying, guarantee within the week Onuachu will have his own song. Is there any chance that he's got at the moment that we should be aware of that we can perhaps continue on behalf of his former clubs?
No, not.
No.
I think the only chance that I know of is in Dutch. And I can't speak Dutch, so
Oh,
probably
okay.
Southampton fans would, Saints fans would have to come up with one. But I saw one on Twitter yesterday, and I think at the end he was like, the end was like his leg sticks out the bed, something like that.
I think I saw that one. Yeah, I did see that one.
It was
So
really funny.
I'm sure there'll be plenty that will be coming along.
Plenty.
Very good, very good. So in terms of our other striker, or the other winger, I suppose, that we signed yesterday as well, Kalmadine Sulemana. Could you tell us anything about that player at all?
Yeah, Kalmadine Sulemana, very pacey winger, very skillful. I think he's bringing also something different from what you guys have at the moment. When you look at your wingers or the players that can play on the wing for you for Southampton at the moment, I think it's just Musa Jenepo and Theo Walcott. I don't really think Armstrong is a winger. I think he's more of a midfielder. But Musa Jenepo and Theo Walcott. So Kalmadine Sulemana is obviously filling a very important position for Southampton in this second half of the season. So you guys should expect something good from Kalmadine Sulemana. Hopefully he's injury free as well. I think he has a little bit of issues with niggling injuries back at Reims, but hopefully he doesn't bring that to Southampton.
Yeah, it's quite normal with players with that amount of pace, so that they tend to have that kind of stuff. I mean, the first thing on my mind when I saw the highlight reel, I kind of got Sadio Mane vibes. Is that a fair comparison in terms of the sort of player that Sulemana is?
Yeah. I mean, I can see why you compared him to Sadio Mane. I mean, he has
we have
that
fond memories.
You have fond memories of Sadio Mane. He has that knack, to always attack the ball very fast. At a very fast pace. I can also compare him to the guy at Newcastle, Alan Saint Maximin. He plays a bit like Alan Saint Maximin as well. He's a really pacey winger, and I think he's going to hold the right wing for Southampton. I don't see anybody benching him in that position, honestly.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to hold the wing for Southampton.
He's our record signing I did read that. I mean, I've got notes of 25 million euros, but was that confirmed? Does anyone know what the final price was for both these two players? For
Okay.
Sulemana.
For
Yeah,
Suleiman, I'm not sure. But for Onuachu, I think it was 18 million euros.
Okay.
18 million euros. Yeah, 18 million euros for Paul Onuachu.
Wow. So
considering the talent that we've got out of those two sales, that's almost about 60 mil altogether. Considering what other people have been spending, I think it's so much talent for 60 mil.
yeah.
We've spent a lot this window, but for those two, I think it's a pretty price.
Exactly. There's lots of love for you in the chat section, Des. Just want you to be aware of that. Look at that. Everyone's loving it.
Oh,
You have to be every transfer window, you're going to be like our go-to guy. It's going to have to be a thing. But it's so how much does your mate get as a cut of that? Your agent mate? Is it like what percentage of 18 million?
I have no idea, man.
You can tell me off air. It's fine. I don't care.
I have no idea.
It's fine. You don't have to answer that. That was naughty. Sorry. Apologies. So that's really helpful, Des. Really, really do appreciate that. I mean, it is something that a lot of us Saints fans were literally terrified. Through the entire window, thinking like we're actually not going to get a striker, and we were. I think yesterday morning, I was convinced that we were going to wake up today.
Yeah, I knew Southampton were linked to Vitinha late day before yesterday. I think late on Monday.
Yeah,
but eventually that did not really materialize. But I think the Genk hierarchy, they were kind of playing hardball with letting Paul Onuachu go, because right now Club Brugge are struggling and Club Brugge want to win the league. Club Brugge are fighting for the league, and Genk want to win the league. So they were trying their best to keep Paul Onuachu, but I think the Southampton head of operations did all he could, to bring Onuachu to the South Coast. And hopefully Nathan Jones does his best to know how to utilize these players, because one team bringing all these stars, and then is another team putting them together. So I wish Nathan Jones the best, in for the rest of the season.
Yeah, we're certainly going to need it. I mean, I have seen some improvements. The second half performance last night was better in terms of the defensive capabilities. But you're absolutely right.
I was really impressed with the Carabao Cup win against Manchester City. I watched that one, and I was really excited. It was a good game. It was a good game.
Yeah, we were there. We were quite surprised, weren't we, Jack? That was one that we were thinking like, this is going to be a nice night out.
That was the game that reminded me that I could be happy. This is what it's like to be at a football game and actually enjoying myself. This is a good time, and been waiting to get that feeling back again. And I've got to be honest, after today, the last night, I was like, I think we might see some good times now.
Yeah.
Like I see a more complete squad there, and just all these holes that we have in the squad have all just been filled in the last month, and it's just like, okay. Yeah. Now let's see if Nathan Jones can swim, because you're right. We've had some performances where you think, yeah, that's it. The team are solid. They know what they're meant to be running. They're playing, and then you have like the first half last night. You're like, what's going on here? Who isn't doing their job right? And to be fair, it was Bednarak and Bree had a tough first half. Bednarak had a tough second half as well, I think, but. We get into the games now, so I do have faith in Nathan, and I do think it's unfortunate now seeing the caliber of players that we've got to think what Ralph could have done with them in the summer. But
exactly.
But
I had that thought as well. I had that thought as well, because knowing Ralph Hasenhuttl is an Austrian manager, and I think Austrian managers kind of like the kind of profile of player that Paul Onuachu is as well. So I had that thought as well. But obviously, Nathan Jones did pretty well with Luton Town last season. They almost qualified they almost gained promotion to the Premier League. So he did pretty well, and I trust Nathan Jones would be able to do something out of Paul Onuachu and the current group.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly that. It's certainly something that, this is a situation we're in. But yeah, that was the first thing my mind jumped to in terms of like, what if Ralph could have had that? But that ship has sailed. Sadly, I would have been extremely gutted had Everton taken on Ralph, and he would have started building something there. So it probably sort of highlights my feelings for Ralph. I certainly do wish him the best. But Nathan is at the helm. And he's certainly got no excuses now in terms of the resources he's got in front of him. So, yeah, let's make it happen. But Des, really appreciate you coming on the show tonight. Really, really do appreciate it. What I'll do is I'll link all your details. Everyone's going to know you on Twitter anyway, so me plugging you on Twitter is a bit useless.
And just before I go, I just wanted to say something. Southampton now have two Nigerian players in their ranks, which makes them the third Premier League team, to have two Nigerian players in their ranks in the same season after Leicester City and Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest have Dennis and Awoni. Leicester City have Wilfred Ndidi and Kelechi Iheanacho. So, the Nigerian source is spreading across the Premier League, and we as Nigerians, we are very, very excited, and I hope the Nigerian contingent at Southampton, they bring all the good luck and the best of times for you guys as Saints fans. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's certainly something we're hoping it's going to switch on. I mean, Joe Aribo is someone he's kind of. I mean, I've got Aribo's name on the back of my shirt because when he scored that wonder goal in the preseason,
exciting player,
very exciting player. But
Joe Aribo is one player I hope Nathan Jones makes use of more going forward, because anytime I see his name not on the first sheet, oh my God, it breaks my heart. Honestly, I really hope he makes use of Joe Aribo more. And Joe Aribo is not a DM. A lot of Southampton fans make this mistake. He's not a defensive midfielder. He's not a winger.
Not at all.
He's not a striker. He loves playing in the middle. He's like the bridge between the attack and the defense. Just give Joe Aribo that freedom. And he will do magical things. I mean, look at the goal he scored in the Europa League final against Frankfurt. It was really, really good. So I mean, Joe, the way he started the season as well. The goal, I think he scored against, I think it was against Crystal Palace. I can't really remember. His first. It was against Crystal Palace, yeah. So he started the season on fire in the friendly as well against Villarreal. Where he tore the Villarreal defense, to slot in that goal. So Joe Aribo is one player Nathan Jones needs to play more, especially now that Paul Onuacho has come to the Premier League, because in Southampton, there's no player that knows Paul Onuachu more than Joe Aribo, because they've been playing in the national team since 2019, which is about 4 years now. So they know each other basically. They are more or less friends, So imagine you having that synergy between two players from the same country in your team. So I really hope Nathan Jones plays more of Joe Aribo going forward for the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, James Ward-Prowse's name is in here as well. I mean, do you think the fact that James Ward-Prowse is in the side is perhaps getting in the way of Joe Aribo in terms of his positioning?
Yeah,
I'm scared to let you answer this, actually, because otherwise it might be the case of, oh no, competition for the same spot.
I mean, we all know how good James Ward-Prowse is. He's probably the best free kick taker in the Premier League in the Premier League history.
Yep.
So he's that good.
Absolutely.
I mean, the more the merrier. Nathan Jones can play Aribo and James Ward-Prowse together. I mean, at Rangers, Joe Aribo was playing with a lot of attacking talent, and they found a way to have that cohesiveness. So I feel what Southampton need is a player behind two of them that has that steel to man the midfield. I hope they find that in either Diallo or Romoli or I think the German or French guy Lavia. Sorry, Lavia is his name. Yeah. So I hope they find that still in those two guys. But Joe Aribo and James Ward-Prowse, for me, I feel they should be playing more together, honestly, and I think Southampton will get the best going forward out of both of them.
Yeah, fantastic. No, that's absolutely brilliant. Des, really appreciate you coming on the show, man. It's absolutely fantastic. Everyone go and give Des a follow on Twitter. You probably follow him already, so I'm not sure why I'm plugging it. But is there any other social channels that we should be aware of in terms of you?
Yeah, just Twitter and Instagram, Des Footy. That's just it. yeah,
Absolutely.
I appreciate whatever follow I get. Thank you
Absolutely.
very much.
And find us even more talent for the summer coming up, and that'll be absolutely fantastic. And you can keep us in the loop. But Des
Hopefully
is
hopefully more
hopefully
Nigerian
more.
talent,
Please.
more Nigerian
Indeed.
talent coming over to the
Bring
South Coast as well.
bring
Yeah,
the sauce to the South Coast. Absolutely.
exactly,
But
exactly.
Des's details are linked in our
Talking about the
Instagram as well.
source, the ground source, Onuachu is coming to Staplewood tomorrow, and I think he's going to have his media
Ah,
rounds,
okay.
and the, and all the photographs and presentation. Yeah, he will
That's
most
it.
likely be happening tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. Chad, did you get the call? Because
Do you know what?
No,
No, do you know what?
No?
Martin Sedmons has been calling me all the week about other things, but
He's
nothing like
always
this.
calling me.
It's always calling me. Rasmus is always blunt. Me and the Dragon were playing golf the other day, and they just would not stop phoning us.
Fantastic stuff. Awesome. Des, right. I shall let you go, sir. But no doubt we'll be in touch soon. Thanks so much for joining us. All right. Cheers, Des.